So a few years ago, when I was coming back to my faith to really ground myself in it and to figure out my own sort of issues and how I could fix them, and I knew that the answer was in the Bible, that the answer was with my Savior who loved me, and I just needed to figure out how to get that answer, and it took me a few years. But one of the first things that I really felt pressing in on me was to stop watching TV. Now, at that point in my life, I was in France. I had little babies. Streaming had just sort of become a thing. I know time goes by so quickly. Streaming was becoming a thing, not just like downloading and pirating from the internet, but actually streaming. And so I would sit down when my babies were in bed, and I would do some creative things. I just really liked, I guess it was kind of like scrapbooking, but like, mixed media stuff. I just really liked doing it. And my husband worked late, so I didn't want silence. So I would watch TV. I would put it on. Also, when I was cooking, if my babies were napping, I would put it on. But it started to become a thing where I realized, I couldn't stop at just one show. I needed to see another one and another one and another one. And there were days that were like 3 or 4 hours. I was cooking and I was doing other stuff, but 3 or 4 hours of television was going into my brain. And at that time, I was struggling with that. I was still listening. I was listening to sermons and tapes and sort of teaching and stuff. But it got to a point where I really liked the CSI shows and things like that. But if my husband was gone, every noise would freak me out. Like I started I'm a very visual person. So I was having dreams and I was having nightmares. And so it took me a while. I will be honest, I did not go cold turkey. It took me a while, but I eventually weaned myself out of that. And I will go days without watching TV, or my husband and I will choose one show and we will like watch one episode, not even per day, like because we're so busy. But I don't have that feeling of addiction, that feeling of it filling me. But I would never go out and tell you not to watch TV. I mean, it has nothing to do with you. That commandment to me was helpful to me. It was God trying to help me, saying, hey, you could fill your mind with other things. You want to stop your nightmares? Stop watching CSI. You want to not be scared every single time the curtain moves from the wind? Stop watching that kind of television. You want to be a little more productive? Stop making the excuse of cooking more so that you could watch your shows. I mean, that's what I would do, Or like I would get irritated with my toddler because they were being loud and I wanted to watch my show. It was helpful to me. God was trying to help me, and he did, and his advice, as always, was perfect for me. But it doesn't have anything to do with anybody else. If you feel like you shouldn't get tattoos, don't get tattoos. What do you want me to tell you? But don't go around making it your ministry to tell everyone not to get their tattoos. Can we trust each other enough and think the best of each other enough, which is commanded by Paul to do? Like, think the best of each other. I think it's in Acts where he says, don't judge one brother because he follows the Jewish food laws and another one because he doesn't follow the laws. Each of them, just expect that they're doing it because it's what the Father told them to do. Because basically it's none of your business. If they're doing something wrong, it is between them and God. Not you and God. Not you and them and God, and you behind God and above and below, you telling them and warning them. Like, God is big enough to deal with that person. He really is. If somebody should quit yoga, God is big enough to tell them that. If they are starting to think, hey, maybe the Hindu gods are better than my God of the universe, then God will probably deal with them. But otherwise, deal with yourself. Grow yourself. Mature. Just, as it is said, You need to take out the beam in your own eye before you point out the speck in the other. Like, we are supposed to spend our lives growing closer to God, growing closer to Jesus, and growing ourselves in His wisdom and His glory and His goodness, and then what He has for our life, and pushing in towards that and not getting distracted. This is just a distraction. People are different. Not everything in this world is to be condemned, even if a Christian didn't invent it. Because everything that is good has come from above. Everything good comes from God. And sometimes that good comes out of a person who's not a Christian, or who you think isn't Christian enough, or whatever. But you know what? God's just trying to get His stuff done, the things that need to be done. And if it's a good idea and that person's willing to step out and do it, then He's going to get it done through them. Stop judging every little thing. That's my rant. I just wish that we as Christians could find more things to come together about instead of more things to judge each other about. And if you want to have a conversation about whether Christians should do yoga, don't start that conversation by condemning them. Because you don't know. It's your opinion. If you want to have a conversation, let's have a conversation. Otherwise, you could tell me why you quit yoga. I'll listen to you. I'll tell you why I quit television, but I won't tell you that you have to do the same. I really believe that our journey with God is different because we are all different. God is not different, but the journey that we make with Him is different. Mine is different from yours. God is the same, but He is bigger than what we make Him out to be sometimes. And we just start looking petty. And I just don't see that as a way to change the world. Not even one person, I don't think. Anyway, that's my rant, my social culture rant. If you want to hear more, click subscribe. If you like this video, tell me. If you want to start a conversation, let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, I will be up with more Bible talk later on, and probably more social cultural rants as my channel grows. See you later.